Video production, Lava number 5, more editing. So today what we'll take a look at in this lesson is further editing on the timeline and looking at changing the duration of some of our images. And then it looks like we might have a little bit more resizing to do. So let's take a look at it. So at this point, you should have a timeline that's looking something about like this. Like I said, you had a choice on some of those images, but you don't want to leave out a lot of them. In particular, we left off at video Lava 4 with the cross, and I want to make sure that it's not an optional thing on here. I want you to use this technique that we were doing here. Don't leave it out. So if there was a problem with that, I want you to go back to that video and make sure that you have this long shot of Canby's cross, and then you still have that large version of that picture that you can use. And go ahead and put that close-up of the text that's up on that cross. Talks about when he died during that particular meeting with the Modoc tribe back in, what was that, 1873. So these kinds of techniques are important to producing a video, to add that visual interest, to give more information to your audience. And so this is a really good way to do it. So make sure, if you haven't done it, go back and get that done and make sure you have that particular skill under your belt and you can do that. So let's move on. So that was the end of 4, and then we have these pictures here. And now it brings us to, I believe this is, we're getting close to the end here, about set number 6, I think, here. Yeah, Petroglyph Point, set 6. And so we always begin with a sign, because the sign gives us that sense of place. It relays information to the audience without having to say anything or to create additional text, which, by the way, we'll be doing in some lessons coming up. But right now, it's always nice to have these signs point people into the direction of that which we are going to be viewing. And so there's another Petroglyph Point sign which provides some information that maybe somebody would want to take a look at it and read. In any case, it's a cool looking picture, and so we want to include that. And then there's Petroglyph Point from a distance. And then this particular situation here, I do want to spend some time on this, and I want you to include this in your video. I'm going to zoom in a little bit with that plus key. And so we have a visitor right here. There's Caitlin a few years ago, taking a look at Petroglyph Point along with the little brochure. And so then in the next image, it's the same person, but a close-up of her. Looks like maybe she's pointing something out. Okay, so in this particular situation, essentially we're using 2 pictures to convey the same piece of information, but we just want to add some visual interest, just some additional detail to keep it from being not too dull. And so what we're going to do is, now this picture here is lasting for 5 seconds. Now how do I know that? Well, you notice that when I click on it and I wait just a second, there's some information that pops up there. It tells me where it starts, where it ends, duration. So it's, oh, let's see if it'll show up again. There it is, 5 seconds. If I point to it, it'll go away. So you just have to kind of take a look down there. 5 seconds and no frames, 0 frames there. So I'm going to show you another way that we can adjust this. Now, you've already learned that we could just take this and do something like that and decrease it, and then maybe come in here and do a ripple delete. We could do that. The other thing we can do, now this is new. So to change the duration of an image, we're going to click that image, and now we're going to right-click. Lots of stuff here. And we are looking for this, speed and duration, right in the middle. Speed and duration. Click that. And then our little clip speed dialog box comes up. And the speed is ghosted at this point because it's an image and not video. Later on, we can actually have fun playing things fast, slow. We can actually do things backwards too with this reverse speed here. But right now, the only thing we're concerned with is this right here, and this is that duration of 5 seconds. And so what we are going to do for this particular movie is that we really don't need that long shot for too long. We just need that long shot to set up our close-up. And so I'm going to go ahead and, once again, anytime you see these boxes like this, you can with the arrows pointing left and right. You can click and hold and then just drag these. It's a slider is what it is. And you can do it that way. But if you want to just save some time and just get it exact, I'm going to make this a 2-second image. So we're going to change it from 5 seconds to 2. I'll click it, release, and then you'll see right now it's at 4 seconds, 25 frames. And so as long as it's all lit up like that, I can just simply come in and I'm going to put 2 seconds, 00 frames. And let's see if that worked. Well, it looks good down there, and we can go back in and look at it and see. Yeah, it sure did. I'll do that again. I'll put it back to 5. If I want that to be 5 seconds, it would be 5 seconds, 00 frames. No punctuation. And there's our 5 seconds back. I'm going to move it up here so it doesn't cause any problems. And just to show you that, I could right-click it, speed duration. If I want to make that picture last 20 seconds, what do you think I would do? 20, 00. And now you can see it's real long because it's lasting for 20 seconds. Now let's undo that real quickly. Oops. There we go. Let's see what happens if I just put in 20. Say, oh, I want it to last 20 seconds. What happened? Well, I'll tell you what happened. Watch how fast that goes. Here we go. That was 20 frames, so it was less than 1 second. So that's why you have to put in the frame count also. And most of the time, you're probably, for pictures, we don't need to worry about frame length. So we'll just put in, go back to our 2 seconds. So always have to put in those frames. Click, click, 2 zeros. Now you could put in frames. I could put in 2 seconds, 25 frames. And that's what that is. It's not quite 3 seconds. So you can get very precise. You've got to remember that frame rate. So it's 30 frames per second. That's 1/30th of 1 second. It's pretty fast. In fact, I could go ahead and I'll show you here. I'll zoom in. And we could go in there and change that to, well, let's just go ahead and put in 1 frame and see what happens. I'll put in just a number 1. And there it is. And you'll find at times you'll lose pieces of video or images because you'll do that. And you can see that if you this is pretty large, but gosh, where'd it go? I mean, you can barely see that right there because it's just 1 frame, but everything looks okay. And so this might cause you some problems. In fact, let's have some fun here real quickly. And if I zoom way in, that's only 1 frame, but I'm zoomed in so far that I don't even know if I can grab that. Let's see. Oh yeah, I did. Okay. So you might have some kind of a sliver like this, and you might be watching your movie, and you're watching it, and it's going, okay, that looks good. There, and then all of a sudden, just some weird thing happens. Just something's wrong, and you're not sure what it is. And if this is minimized, we're zoomed out, it's really tough to see it. It's just that you're watching the movie, and something's wrong, and you're not sure. And it's because, by the way, you can use your arrow keys to go 1 frame at a time. And then you might come in here and go, what is going on? And then there. For 1 frame, there's that little picture in there, and that causes some problems. So we don't want to do that. So I'm going to undo that, try to get back something reasonable. Put that back. So we want that to be 2 seconds. That's what I want you to do on that. That was a long way to get about telling you to change that to 2 seconds. There it is. And we're going to take it and insert it right there. And then, as we learned yesterday, I can click in this empty space, right-click, and do what we call a ripple delete. It ripples everything from downstream back upstream and gets rid of the empty space. And now we're going to have that picture there for about 2 seconds, and then go to that close-up. And so that's how we're going to deal with that at Petroglyph Point. That's bringing us towards the end of our movie here. We've got set 7, and so we're getting ready to end, and we're just looking at some landscapes. Probably we're going to have some nice music coming up here. And then, oh, here we've got a picture that needs to be resized. Once again, that's a right-click. Edit in Photoshop. Image. Image size. $720, 480. I'll go ahead and save that. And there we go. And then we're to our closing image, reminding people of why we were watching this, and we're going to fade to black. So there you go. And so that brings us to the foundation of our movie. We've got all of our images. We've got the images lined up, resized, in the order that we want. We've done some scaling, some time change, changing the duration of a clip, and we're ready to move on to the next step. And so in the next video, we'll take a look at how we can add some motion to the images to give it even more interest, to add a bit of animation, if you will. That's what we're going to be doing. And then we'll close out with a fade to black, and I will see you in the next exciting Lava Beds video.